Hello and welcome to the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast for December 4th, 2024. This is episode 342. Stand-up comedian, actor, improviser, and dreamer, Paul Green coming to you, sharing my dreams and my journey with all of you in the hopes that you'll share and experience and pursue your dreams as well. And I will also be providing my thoughts on Brené Brown's The Power of Vulnerability. I am re-listening to that book and just taking it, in some cases, sentence by sentence, chapter by chapter, and just sharing my thoughts and insights as she shares hers. If you have not read The Power of Vulnerability, that book is magnificent. So influential, and something that I have studied and listened to and tried to implement since I first listened to it. I think, man, it's been almost 10 years. I actually remember when I was working for a company called Infusionsoft. I was a brand new employee. This would have been late 2014 or early 2015. And I actually remember I did a team building training meeting with my work team all about vulnerability. And I actually had some of my teammates kind of pull me aside and message me personally, just saying that they had some really powerful experiences based off of that little lesson that I did that really helped them out. One in particular, we had a guy on our team, and I cannot even remember his name. That's how long ago it was. But I know that he was in a gay relationship with his partner, and it had created some difficult, strained relationship with his father. And after I did my little presentation on vulnerability, all inspired by Brené Brown, he sent me a personal message and just saying, hey, I want you to know that I was able to reach out to my dad and reconnect to him all because of being vulnerable. And, thank you for your lesson or whatever. So, a huge fan of Brené Brown, but let's get to that a little bit later. And for now, let's just do a quick check-in on what's going down as I am pursuing my dreams as a comedian and as a performer. And I'll tell you, December 4th was actually a pretty chill day for me, which was really nice because it's definitely the calm before the storm, and the storm is starting tonight. Tonight is going to be the first show of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think 10 shows in the next 7 days. Oh, man. Or 10 performances, I should say. I got a performance tonight, December 5th, another one December 6th. I got a performance December 8th, December 9th, December 11th, December 12th, 2 on December 13th, and 2 on December 14th. Yep, that's 10 performances between Thursday, December 5th, and Saturday, December 14th. Oh, that's like 8 days. Oh, man. So today I really just, I had some work to get done, as I always do. And then I went and did some journaling. And I always like just journaling. It gets me writing. It gets me in my notebook and just really helps me get my thoughts focused. And after journaling, I went to the gym and had a really great workout. It was a tough cardio workout, and that felt really nice. And then after the gym, I went back and did some more writing. A couple different things that I'm currently writing. I shared this about a week ago, but I had this weird inspiration. Well, I don't know if it's inspiration. It's just a thought that came to me and I acted on it to write my story down. And the the whole fact that I'm writing this is actually an exercise in manifestation, because I'm actually writing my my story up to me getting my big break. And so the story is actually me saying, "Oh, my big break has already happened, and now I'm going back and telling the story." And what's kind of exciting is I haven't really had my big break yet. And so I'm starting literally where I was born, and I'm just telling stories of me growing up and starting to just talk about, how I ended up as a comedian and as a comedic actor, and um, just telling the whole story. And then by the end of the story, it's going to be me talking about what happened that led to me realizing my dreams. Kind of weird. That's what I'm doing. And it's been fun just sort of writing down my life and some experiences I had as a kid that I haven't even thought about. But when I started just reflecting on my upbringing and my youth and certain influential memories that I had that started to shape and mold my character and who I am and how I ended up in this position. And then ultimately, I'll be able to tell the story of how all of that led to my big break. So I've been hacking away at that autobiography, really. And then I've also been writing a little sketch comedy idea that I had. And, I'm just nibbling away, just nibbling at these different writing exercises. So I don't know. It's just exciting. I'm excited to see what happens. And in the meantime, I'm just so grateful that I'm just going to have a crazy 8 days of traveling and performing, doing different shows. I'll be headlining 5, 6, 7, 8 of those shows, 8 of the 10. Well, 3 of them are midlife crisis comedy shows, so I co-headline those with Josh Novi, and then 5 of them I will be headlining just as the headlining stand-up comedian. One of them is a child's party where I'll be dressing up like Batman, so I don't really count that as me headlining anything. And then I'll be featuring in another one of the stand-up shows. So just so happy and excited and grateful to be able to have these experiences, which, speaking of gratitude, now let's talk about the Brené Brown chapter. And by the way, I'm still in the introduction. I have been commenting on the introduction for the last 4 days. And that's because in the introduction, Brené Brown talks about this idea of wholehearted living and people who live wholeheartedly. And she gives a list of 10 things that the wholehearted cultivate and 10 things that they let go of. So I have been talking about those 10 things. So today she said that the wholehearted cultivate gratitude and joy and they let go of scarcity and fear of the dark. Ho, ho, man. There is a lot to unpack of those four elements: gratitude, joy, scarcity, fear of the dark. So let's start with gratitude. I have been talking about gratitude so much on the Paul Green Comedy Podcast. I just find it so crucial to happiness, to fulfillment, to it. To me, gratitude is like the magic ingredient to increase every good thing in your life, every good relationship, every good career choice, your financials, your experiences, your opportunities. I mean, being grateful for the people in your life who are serving you, who are there for you, being grateful for the jobs and income that we have, for the opportunities that come our way. And it's so shocking to me how I mean, it seems so rare. It seems like our world, our society, our culture has made entitlement like the highest virtue. Like, the better you are at complaining about how everybody else is doing it wrong, or the system is wrong, or the people in charge are wrong, and everybody's a greedy, selfish bastard, and everybody should be giving you more and more and more and more, and you don't have to do anything more for it. I mean, I just see this so many times. And I see it with comics. I mean, I have just seen comics who will completely sever or ruin relationships with club owners and bookers because this booker who already gave them an opportunity, didn't do it good enough. Or, the booker offered him a certain amount of money, and instead of them being grateful for that, they resented or complain or beg for more or demand more. And it's like, hey, I'm all about negotiation. I'm all about you getting paid what you're worth and what you deserve. But there is a significant attitude difference between somebody asking for more from a state of gratitude versus somebody asking for more out of a state of entitlement. Just, I deserve more, even though I'm not going to give any more or even be grateful for what I've already been given. And I've seen that attitude of entitlement and lack of gratitude again ruin so many comics' chances. It's like, well, now that booker's never going to book you again. You know what I mean? Like, good luck. You do that enough and show up with that sense of entitlement. I mean, I'll tell you, I just think so many comics are so clueless to how much work it takes to put on a show or to have a venue, to provide opportunities for comics to get an audience out. And and I think it's the same with actors and performers or employees. I mean, to put on a movie production is so much work and blood and sweat and tears. These producers and writers. I have a buddy who wrote and self-produced a movie 10 years ago, longer than 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And he wrote it 11 years ago, and it took him over 10 years to get that movie sold to a major studio. And then the major studio had him rewrite the whole thing again to fix the studio's vision. And then that took another year to finally get it like produced and filmed and released. It's like it was 10 years of work. And yet there's going to be actors on that who want to do nothing more than just show up and have that, producer pay them millions and millions of dollars, just to like, just to stand in front of a camera and say a couple lines and then get to go home, So gratitude, I'll tell you, really learning to be grateful for the people in your life and the people who support you and give you opportunities and are there for you, to me is, I mean, it should be intuitive. It should be natural. It should be a no-brainer, but it's really not. So, which is, why probably so many self-help people have to like bring that up. It's like, hey, maybe y'all should be grateful instead of entitled and upset and selfish. So gratitude, joy, cultivating joy. I mean, again, I feel like misery and cynicism is like what our culture prioritizes the most. I mean, it is so easy to be bitter and unhappy and complain about everything, but trying to find joy and being happy and excited to be alive and to have opportunities is, I mean, to me that's what life should be. And I could probably afford to take some of my own advice on this. I do have a tendency to be a little sort of subdued, little cynical, little snarky, little sarcastic. A lot of that's my personality, but there are times when I will just allow myself to really experience the joy and happiness of being able to perform and spend time with people I love and being able to experience my dreams, my passions, and to have people who are supporting me on this journey. And I mean, if we're not experiencing joy, then what the hell is it all for? And I really think joy is one of those things, one of those emotions to where it really is a choice. How joyful we want to be and how joyful we want to feel and how much joy we want to experience. And yet, for some reason, it can be so easy just to be cynical and bitter and sad and depressed and mopey and upset. And again, this is definitely a say as I or do as I say, not do as I do. So I've got some work in the joy department. So gratitude and joy is what Brene Brown is telling us. The wholehearted experience, they cultivate gratitude and joy, and then they let go of scarcity and being afraid of the dark. And oh man, every single one of these is just hitting me right in the middle, just right in the heartstrings, because I have definitely had a scarcity mindset for much of my life. And it wasn't really until the last couple of years, again, when I really started to discover the self-help industry, self-help books, a lot of those philosophers talk about a scarcity mindset versus an abundant mindset. And it really is a mindset, and it's all relative. I mean, I could look at my current situation and I could choose to say, oh, well, my life is incredibly abundant right now. Or I could choose to say, oh, my life is so full of scarcity right now. And both would be true. It's really just what I choose to believe and who I'm comparing myself to. Am I abundant compared to Jerry Seinfeld financially? Well, no, Jerry Seinfeld is worth about $1 billion. I'm not. So if I'm going to compare my financial abundance to Jerry Seinfeld, well, then I'm pretty scarce. But if I look at the history of the world, anybody living in America has more money, more wealth, more opportunities than 99.9% of anybody who's ever lived in the world historically. I mean, don't quote me on that number, but pretty much. I mean, you just go back 200 years. I don't even think hot showers existed 100 years ago. We didn't even have hot showers. I think hot showers was like 50, 60 years ago. Somebody can go fact check me on that, but I mean, it's fairly recent. I mean, the internet is 30 years old. That just blows my mind. 30 years ago, no internet. Cell phones are, 20 years old? Yeah, a little bit older than that. Cell phones are probably about 30 years old as well. But smartphones, when did the iPhone come out? Like 2007? There wasn't even a smartphone 20 years ago. I had a Nokia. My old Nokia cell phone. So anyway, letting go of a scarcity mindset, again, big challenge for me. And I've had to do a lot of work on that. I remember when I got laid off from my first major corporate job, which was a company called Infusionsoft, which was the company that I gave the vulnerability team building training on. I remember when they laid me off in 2019, and I got so depressed. I got so discouraged. I had this woe is me attitude, and yet there were opportunities all around me. I had other job opportunities. I hopped on Upwork. I had people blowing me up on Upwork, wanting to hire me and work with me. I did all of this freelance work, and I started to add it up, and I'm like, I'm actually making more money freelance with more flexibility than I was with my full-time corporate job. And yet I had to go through this period of sadness and woe is me and that, and it's because I was still living in a scarcity mindset. And I've had to do a lot of work on that to just go, Paul, no matter what happens, your life is abundant and you will live a life of abundance. And it makes a difference. Makes a difference what we choose to focus on and how we choose to process what is happening to us from a financial standpoint with our careers, our jobs, our money, the bills, all of that. Because I'll tell you what, no matter how rich you are, there is bills, there's stress, Elon Musk could have an attitude of scarcity if he wanted to. Jeff Bezos, I don't think Amazon's ever been profitable. I think they've run at a loss for the last 20 years. Don't quote me on that, but I've heard that. But I know that they haven't been profitable. So Jeff Bezos technically could go oh, well, I'm scarce because Amazon, this company that I've been running for 20 years, is actually not profitable. Right? And he's worth however many billions, right? Mindset. All of this is mindset. Gratitude, joy, scarcity, all mindset. And mindset is always a choice, even if it doesn't feel like it. We can always choose to override our default emotional state and choose to change what we focus on, change what is important to us, change what gives meaning to the experiences that we're having. Leading us to the final part of this recommendation for wholehearted living, or this discovery for the wholehearted people, which is letting go of a fear of the dark. Now, I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is metaphorical, and what she means by fear of the dark is letting go of the innate fear that we all experience when we are trying to step into the unknown, trying to take a risk. I mean, going for a big dream is a huge risk. There's an opportunity cost. There is a chance of failure. There is chance of embarrassment. There is a chance of, losing money, losing time, losing relationships. I mean, every risk is a risk for that reason. And yet, everybody who I have ever studied, ever read about in any book ever, who has achieved a level of success, every single one of their stories, if you look at their history, it is riddled with failure. And with that failure came a resilience and a courage to get up and try again. And one of the biggest realities is any dream that you pursue, you're going to be staring into the darkness, staring into the abyss, because nobody can predict the future. Nobody knows what's really going to happen. Nobody knows what is really going to lead to success or what isn't. We all have our best guesses, and trying to do something out of the norm, we all sort of settle into our life patterns. I go to this job, I make this much money, I go to this house, I have these relationships, they feel this way. But to really expand and to go for a dream means taking a step out of what is comfortable and what is seen, and taking a step into the darkness, and just hoping that the light will follow you as you start moving. And that has definitely been my experience. The more that I pursue my dreams, that I try to take chances, try to take risks, try to figure out how to be successful at this, there is just so much unknown. There's so much that I have no idea. And I also have no idea if I'm actually going to make it. I mean, I could lose everything tomorrow. Or I could get a big break tomorrow. I mean, who knows? I don't. And that to me is this idea of letting go of fear of the dark, because I think what holds so many of us back from living the life that we want to live is that fear. That fear of failure, that fear of taking a step into the dark and then realizing, there's nothing underneath you, and then it's a free fall into an alligator pit. I mean, who knows? So, again, big challenge for me, something that I've really had to work hard at, which is letting go of that fear of the dark and being willing to move forward and take risks and just be okay with the fact that I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I have no idea what's going to happen or how long it's going to take. I just have no idea. So that's my choice. I'm still choosing it, and I am choosing to, I don't know if I'm not afraid of the dark, again, metaphorically, but I am choosing to, as courageously as I can, step into the dark anyway, even though maybe I am afraid of it. So we'll see what happens, everybody. All right. I'm going to end it there for today. Thank you so much for listening to the Paul Green Comedy Podcast for December 4th, 2024, episode 342. I love you all so much, and I will talk to you tomorrow.